Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Human in the Loop. I'm joined today by Nataliia of Netpeak, and we have an interesting conversation, a really data-driven conversation today about the market, about its buyers, about its sellers. And fortunately, Netpeak is a very, very data-driven company with a lot of insights, on everything in between, and maybe a little bit of AI mixed into our conversation today as well. But before we get started, Natalia, can you just give an introduction for yourself and for Netpeak as well?
Okay. Well, Cameron, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here on this podcast. My name is Nataliia. I'm a CEO of Netpeak US. Netpeak is a global digital marketing agency. We're a full cycle digital marketing agency, and we've been operating for 18 years. And organically, we decided that we need to have, a US presence. And here I am driving and making it happen. So we are focused on partnering with our clients and delivering them full capability of enhancing their performance, increasing their sales, and boosting their business through digital marketing needs.
Hmm. Love it. I think one of the biggest things that drew me to this conversation with you in the first place, we met maybe a month or two back, and we were just
Yeah.
kind of ideating on what we should talk about here. I was really impressed and surprised by just how many different areas Netpeak had his hands in, and really like was digging deep into data. And like you said, I mean, you're a digital marketing agency. You're in a lot of different marketplaces, a lot of different platforms, and I think that aspect is really unique for just how deep into it you are in so many different areas. So I think a good place to start this conversation is around the intent, understanding the intent of buyer behavior
Mm-hmm.
across platforms. The really interesting aspect that makes you unique is understanding that customer intent. So one of the biggest challenges I think sellers face today, because there are so many different options for where to sell, for where to be, for where to advertise, is understanding what customer intent is and what buyer behavior is across all of these different
Mm-hmm.
options, right? Because it is different.
Yes,
So
absolutely. It is different, and understanding the differences and harnessing the differences is the way to go, because
yeah,
you should not just be everything for everyone. You
right,
should,
right.
pick and choose the channels that are effective for you and will enable you reach your target audience in the most effective manner. So,
So
yeah.
how do you think sellers should understand the differences between some of these major marketplaces and platforms and approach them differently then?
Well, I will definitely highlight our experience because we've been working, like on we've been operating for 18 years, and we've been working with most of the platforms that exist in marketplaces globally.
Hmm.
So there are a few things that make certain platforms stand out, and I would like to highlight that, right? So
Yep.
again, to make it easier for businesses to choose what they want to use in their omni-channel user experience that they're
Mm,
building. So
love it.
if we talk about the most common ones like Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, right? So it's a social platform in nature of it, right? So
Mhm.
users who go there, they're seeking entertainment, social engagement, lifestyle tips, content. So the users that are there, the shoppers that are there, they're very impulse driven
Mm,
mostly, and they're influenced by visuals and trends and social proof, right? So
mhm.
that doesn't mean that you can only sell like random stuff, and their high end products sell well there as well.
Mm,
But the thing is that the aspect of Meta, the social nature of it, allows sellers to tailor their campaigns, to deliver the maximum value and penetrate the market and deliver the message to their target audience because of the sheer amount of information you can get from this platform.
mm.
So when you are trying to sell through Meta, you should focus on creating visually appealing, engaging content. So you're
Yep.
engaging with your audience, you're creating materials that are visually appealing and then will make you stand out, right? You're creating this impulse, you're creating this connection to the user through the visuals, through the engaging content.
Mm,
Again, if we talk about Google and like search and display ads, it's a little bit different. The audience there is intent driven. They're there because they're searching for something, right? They're not just browsing, they're searching for specific things, products, or solutions. And they're, in many cases, they're ready to buy, right? Or they're in a research phase. So, for example, here you should more utilize, high intent keywords. You should, use retargeting for the audiences. So you need to ensure that ads you display are very closely related to the search intent. They're addressing the FAQs. It's essential, right? So you should be very detailed and specific where you want your campaigns to run and what messaging you want to deliver, because these people are ready to buy. They're intent driven. Bing, well, I honestly don't know people personally who use Bing as, as their
I don't either.
default
I don't
search
either.
engine. However, the data suggests it's 7% of US market. So again, we're naturally there, and businesses who are catering to certain audiences, and Bing is catering to a more mature audience, should be present there as well. So if you are choosing Microsoft ads, you're reaching to all older, slightly more affluent demographic, and users there are less competitive than Google, and they're less intent focused, but they're more looking for value, for quality, and that's what you should embrace. Advertisers on Bing have lower cost per click, so you can definitely use that to your advantage.
Yep.
And you should follow the same strategies you use for Google, but ensure that ad copy, it caters to a more mature audience that is highlighting and focusing, quality, trustworthiness, and exclusivity. If we talk about App Store or Google Play, these are now extremely important, and they're like rising because everything is going mobile first.
Yeah.
And customers there have very particular, peculiar behavior as well. They are looking for specific functionality. They rely on reviews and ratings. They will browse alternatives before they commit to a download. So you should focus on App Store optimization. You should ensure that, your app listings are very clear, engaging. You should highlight unique selling points. Like everywhere else, you should have high quality visuals, and you should encourage positive reviews. And then again, in-app advertising can also help you capture users that are, looking for something similar.
Yeah.
Amazon users there are very, very highly intent driven, right? Because they are there to buy for sure. If in Google, they may be searching for things, here they're to buy. So they're offering, comparing prices, they're looking at reviews, they're looking at features. It's maybe their primary platform to buy. So you should invest, in Amazon SEO for your product listing, use high quality images again, right? And build very strong review base. You should highlight, like competitive pricing. You should highlight benefits to make you stand out against similar listings. Walmart is also, very intent driven, but is also value conscious, right? So customers are looking for a balance between quality and affordability. They're often, looking for essentials, household items, and, you cannot overspend on that. So when you are advertising on Walmart, you need to focus on, clear value-oriented messaging, emphasizing, the price and the product benefits. It is a less crowded marketplace, yet so optimizing for Walmart's algorithms can also provide you like a significant advantage with your competitors. So again, leverage Walmart specific promotions to build brand recognition and stand out for loyal customers on Walmart. Etsy is very different from the two I mentioned above, right? Users are inspiration driven. They're searching for uniqueness, for something handmade, for something vintage. They prioritize this. They want this to be individual. They want it to be of high quality. They want the story behind the products. So if you are selling on Etsy, you should use personalized storytelling in everything, in product descriptions, in, like in how you create your page, how you make it stand out. You highlight the handmade aspects. You can highlight the uniqueness aspects. You create, again, appealing visuals, because it's not about, reading this personal story. It's also about seeing these personalized, very appealing images of unique, custom handmade products. You should definitely engage with your customers. You should definitely highlight that this is a custom made, a very unique, one of a kind product. eBay is very different from the three above. People are looking, for finding deals.
Yeah.
They want the best price, right? They are okay with new, they are okay with pre-owned items. The price is what it matters. They are looking for a bargain, right? So, and you should definitely emphasize that in your listings. You should showcase that it's a unique or collectible item. But also competitive pricing is very important. So, using words like best offer can be very appealing to whoever's shopping on eBay. So
Mm.
if we would like put it together in a few phrases, how we would make the uh, aspects of each of the platforms. Every time you choose a platform, you need to understand what audience you are trying to get across to, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
tailor your content. You need to ensure that you understand the user behavior on the platform you're using and tailor everything: visual, story,
Yep.
advertisement campaigns, product description to that behavior and to value they're looking for. Are they
Mm.
value the bargain? Are they value the uniqueness? Do they value, something that is very competitive in pricing?
Right.
So invest in that and always understand and tailor your content to the platform you're using.
There's a
Listings. Yeah.
that's a big breakdown, and I mean, we could spend probably 2 hours. I mean, five
Oh
hours,
yeah.
breaking down each of the yeah. But
Yeah, for sure.
there's an idea, there's a question here. I think that a lot of sellers probably have in mind. In addition, like understanding this basic principle, which is fantastic to start this conversation off with, is that each of these marketplaces, these places are unique. The shoppers are
Mhm.
unique. Their desires are unique. Compare Etsy to Amazon. Like that's just so different, right? Your messaging
Yeah,
needs to be
it's sometimes even
unique.
opposite types of, of demographic and of user behavior
Right.
because they're looking
Bing,
for totally different things.
Bing, which apparently has people shopping, is very different. But
Hmm.
so there's an interesting question here I think sellers probably would have, which is, okay, how it is the secret to unlocking growth. Like I'm trying to think of the secret to unlocking growth. How should sellers pick which place to approach? Because I imagine sellers are like, okay, does that mean I should go on to every single one and spend so much time optimizing all the platforms for all of my products? Like, how should
Hmm.
people approach picking some of these things for the products that they're selling?
And then that's where we are targeting the next aspect of what we want to discuss is data,
Yeah.
right? Data-driven decisions is the key aspect of how you choose
Mm,
where you want to be. Your
hmm
data tells you where you should be and where you shouldn't be.
mm,
So pretty much, making data-driven decisions is the key to success. You need to collect as much first-party data as possible,
hmm
and then you need to make decisions based on the data you collected.
Well, let's talk
Data
about
will
that.
allow you to understand the behavior, to understand the preferences, and then understand what channels or what tools they use to find what they want. And then you just go to these channels and you make
So yeah,
yourself
so
visible
let's
and
unpack
available
that.
there.
Let's unpack that. Like the secret here is data. So let's unpack
Mhm.
that. What is the significant? How you've described the significance, but how should sellers approach this data-driven approach? How should they leverage data to identify kind of the path that they should?
So first of all, they need to, enhance their audience targeting and segmentation. They
Mm,
always need to analyze the demographic, the behavior, the purchase history data. They need to identify specific customer segments that naturally want and are looking for what the seller can offer. And then you need to tailor marketing effects to
mhm.
reach that audience or that demographic. And this will allow you, to minimize your ad spend, and this will allow you to maximize your ROI because you will be delivering the right message to the right person using the right tools.
Right.
So again, analyzing the demographic behavior, purchase history, and all these things.
Mm,
It's one of the key aspects of how you can get that across. You need to know your customer. Is not just a catchy phrase that a lot of people use. It is actually a plan of action for
mhm.
any business. You
What
need
what's
to know your customer. You need to engage with your customer. You need to understand the intentions, the pains, the gains, what they're trying to achieve. And this data is invaluable in understanding how you can build an omni-channel experience for the
yeah.
same type of users. How can you multiply this experience to build an omni-channel that will allow you to find similar people with similar pains or similar interests and drive them your way?
That's good. What do you think the best, maybe the most efficient way to do that is across so many different marketplaces? If I'm a seller and I'm saying, okay, I want to use a data-driven approach to identify the people that want my product, how should I approach that if I'm on Amazon? Because most people are on Amazon. They're going to be on Amazon, right?
Mhm.
Maybe Walmart. How should I approach that if I'm curious of like, okay, where should I expand to next? Like what's the best approach to kind of start that process of gathering all this data?
Well, first of all, any business needs to invest time and efforts into building a CRM system. You need
Hmm.
to collect all this data ongoingly. You need to gather as much, first party data as possible to make, your decisions.
Yeah.
So again, you need to automate the way you collect the data on your users, on their behavior. And then you need to use AI to identify the trends, identify the possibilities. You need to create a toolkit that will
Hmm.
allow you to be more effective and be more strategic in what channels you are using, because the data on your existing customers will help you tailor your
Yeah.
approach for similar customers, for new customers you want to find. And in this aspect, it's pretty much investing in CRM, investing time and effort into engaging with your users through the platforms you're already on, like social media. Ask them what they want, hear their opinion, read their reviews, engage with them on these reviews. You need to understand their pains, their gains. You need to understand why they made the decision they made. And you can incentivize them for that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you take the short survey, like based on your recent purchase, it will
Hmm.
help me, improve or enhance my like either product description or my service offering or anything like that. So talk to your existing customers, talk
Yeah.
to your
Good.
past customers, know why they stay, know why they leave, just know everything about them and how they're making decisions.
Hmm.
Again, use the tool set. There's so many products. And can I advertise you guys in here, for example?
You
you
are allowed. You are allowed to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like our partnership with Takeometrics has been invaluable for us, right? We are getting so much more insight on
Hmm.
user behavior, on what's working, what's not, on cross-platform benefits of the products, right? So again, finding the tools that work for you, that give you the visibility on how your products or services perform on different platforms, understanding how this data can be overlapping, how
Yeah.
you can find the opportunities is the best way. So invest in the toolkit and invest in understanding
That's good.
your clients and
That's good.
understanding
That's
what
good.
they want and why.
There are Takeometrics being one of them, many AI tools out there to help
Yeah.
processes like this when it comes to cross-platform, bringing different platforms together under one roof, right? How else, what other AI tools or strategies are you using at NetPeak to and do this as in other ways?
Well, that's a very good question as well. Netpeak is not only data driven, it's also an AI driven company. I
Yeah.
can definitely tell you that. We leveraging AI both internally as an organization and also when we are delivering services to our clients. So, for example, internally, we have like a crash course
Mm,
on harnessing the power of AI for all of our employees, which
nice.
helps you to understand and how to, utilize the potential of AI and how to make your job more effective, how to spend less time on doing something routine and focus on being creative. Like we literally have a crash course, and every new person that joins NetPeak has to take it and has to get
Love that.
past the test and show us that they understand. Like even, for example, the meetings, the easiest part, taking meeting minutes,
Yeah.
making them, it's a pain in
Oh yeah.
whatever. Like, and if you have 30 people on board and they're discussing something like a cross functional collaboration, it's
Mm,
it's we're using AI that allows us to track what we talked about and then create the bullet points and assign tasks so people who needs to do what.
love
That's
that.
one example of how we're relying heavily on AI to analyze our client base and
Mm,
data on our customers, again, to identify trends, to identify opportunities, to find, unique value propositions we can create for
yeah.
certain, customer segments. So we're using that. We're also using a lot of AI when it comes to creating content. And again,
Mm,
any seller can do that. There's so many products that will help you pretty much create everything from
yeah.
scratch,
Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
with content plan
Right.
and finishing with videos and
Mhm.
other things that will create something that will be very appealing to a very specific target audience.
Mm,
So
love that.
this
I love that. I love that you're using the AI yourself at NetPeak and
oh
encouraging your employees to do like that's just how it's done. That's how it's
One
supposed
of
to
the
be.
KPIs for the company's divisions is how much of AI we integrate.
Yeah, I
Like
love that.
company is tracking that. It's a company effort to track that we are implementing AI in our work routine, not to substitute what we're doing,
Right.
to
To
automate
enhance.
routine things,
Yeah, to
to
enhance.
allow us to focus on being
That's
creative,
I
to focus on finding cutting edge, things, so we can have time to actually strategize
yeah, yeah.
and, deliver
There
more to our
there are
clients.
I mean there are so many things that you can automate like even leveraging like make.com or Zapier. Like I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot about a lot of these ways as well to kind of fill in the gaps and increase what one person can do like tenfold. But let's talk. You mentioned, I think one interesting aspect of this conversation that I'd like to get into is unpacking some of the interesting data points and insights that you've been able to pull from all the marketplaces you mentioned, like Google, Meta, Amazon, Walmart, etc. So, in a way, almost like getting a pulse on what's going on. There's a valuable insight here of
Mhm.
like getting the pulse for what's going on across the globe on these marketplaces, on these platforms. So it could be any interesting insight. What are some really interesting insights or data points that you've pulled from some of these platforms that
Uh,
show the current state of digital marketing?
well, there's like we're tracking a lot of data. Like I said, we're a data-driven company. So sometimes we have so much data, we don't know what to do with it.
Hmm.
So like when I approached this conversation, I had so much information coming from the team saying, hey, we noticed this and this. So I tried kind of boil it down to certain things.
Yeah, love
But
that.
if we talk like, let's talk about like specifics of every platform, like something peculiar. So Google, for example, we are noticing that there's this diversification in search intent,
Hmm.
right? Consumers are increasingly using search in a non-linear path.
Interesting.
They can be very specific and they can be very general. So, and this highlights for the need for the businesses, to understand different stages of customer journey and catering to that,
Hmm.
right? Because like Google recently, they published a report where they're saying that on average, there's a 15% of new queries daily. So people are finding new, more creative ways
No
to search
way.
for things.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay,
Uh,
when you say, I just
yeah.
want to make sure when you say nonlinear, what does that mean? Like in a nonlinear way, you said like searching in a nonlinear way. What does that mean
So
exactly?
people can be, searching for something very, very, very specific. Like, I need to find a specific store in my location, but at
Hmm.
the same time, they can find something, like top brands for shoes. Who knows what shoes, like what they're looking for. So
Yeah.
they can be very broad, very exploratory.
Hmm.
And at the same time, they can be very specific. Hey, find me a location of this particular brand in this in the
Yeah.
area I live in.
Got it.
So you cannot expect them to start from a certain point. They can start from any point. They can
Oh.
start looking for product at any point.
Hmm.
And you as a business have to be ready for that. You have to build, your customer journey that will take into consideration this non-linear nature of people trying to find something
Wow.
and pretty much create a path of whenever they reach you, they will be then taken into works and then they will be delivered to your door
Yeah.
in terms of, they will find you.
Hmm.
So you need to be ready that they can start looking as broad as possible or as specific as possible. You cannot expect them to create this perfect query, what they need to look for. They can start as broad as they can. And you need to be ready. Businesses need to be ready for that.
Wow. That's huge. Okay, what else you got?
We are noticing that there's an increased, cost per click in competitive industries.
Hmm.
So like for finance and legal and e-commerce especially,
Mhm.
a lot of people, cost per click is growing steadily. And it is essential for businesses now to enhance their ad and search relevance and quality scores, because sometimes the price for campaigns goes up because you're literally barking at the wrong tree. So you
Hmm.
need to be very specific and very tailored and how you create your campaigns to cater to very, very specific target audiences to avoid this, like ramp up in cost per click.
Yeah.
There is emergence of, a visual and video search. And it will be growing. People
Hmm.
will be looking, like for through searching for images, trying to do the, the visual or video search or voice search. So again, this is something that we're noticing that is growing.
Mm,
So again, businesses need to be ready. They need to optimize the formats of the content that they're creating and how they're utilizing the platforms they're advertised on
mhm.
to cater to that. If we talk about Meta, we're seeing a decline in organic reach and increase in paid engagement again,
Interesting.
right? So again, um, the organic reach on Facebook and Instagram, due to numerous changes of algorithm and
Right.
aspects how they promote or not promote the pages or content, continue to decline, especially for business pages, right?
Mhm.
And it's pushing businesses to invest in ads, invest in paid engagement.
Mhm.
So business needs to be ready for that. They are driven to be more strategic and to be more focused on creating collaborations, on creating well-targeted video ads, stories, reels, engaging organically to overcome these trends on the platforms.
Yeah, that's interesting because my perception, and perhaps this comes from like, this is a catch up from like the TikTokified social media aspect, but like it seemed like for a minute there, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram specifically went back into organic being kind of more of a play, at least for individuals and partially for businesses as well. But it's interesting that the discovery, like being discovered, has like come back around into ad campaigns and paid media for Meta again. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's not surprising necessarily. It's just good to know, I think, for
yeah.
businesses moving forward on those platforms.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Again, yeah, businesses need to understand that they should invest in both on organic and paid promotion, but then
Yeah,
they understand that for certain platforms, paid engagement will give them more benefits than the organic.
yeah,
However, they need to support both channels because organic is still a very long-term investment, and this is what gives you visibility long-term.
right.
And then strategic paid engagements will help you, go through this period
Mm.
and will help you stay visible and reach your audience, be more appealing and create your brand visibility or cater to your target audience in the most effective way.
Yeah, it's good.
One of the things that we also noticed that impact of reviews and ratings.
Mm.
uh, we should never underestimate the people leaving reviews because more and more users look at that and make decisions based on that. So businesses need to be very aware of their ratings and proactively work towards organically increasing the ratings.
And you're not, is that,
Because
you're talking beyond Amazon, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
this is
just
everything,
in general,
everywhere.
yeah, in general, right? Because I mean, you can look at ratings. I don't, I can hardly name a platform where you cannot like have a rating of
Yeah.
who you are or what you do. So again, businesses need to be aware of that and they need to always work proactively on increasing their ratings, right? Because it gives social proof. It gives that last push for the buyers who are not sure. If they're seeing that the rating is high, they will more likely buy your product. And the increase of 0.1 stars can already boost conversion rates.
Mm,
So businesses should always be looking for ways to increase the ratings. And this is, again, another tool to engage with your audience.
right.
You need to understand where people like you. This is a topic starter. You can start the conversation and you can get so much valuable insight from
Mm.
talking to actual people that are actually buying your products or your services. This can help you improve both your product, both your service offering, and then again it can influence your product ratings because people will more likely like maybe change the review or write a new review. Hey, like we resolved the issue I've been having and I like the product is much better now, for
Yeah.
example, and it
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
improve and make you stand out amongst your like
Mm,
competitors. So
that's good. Are kind of moving on, unless if there are any other major data points that you wanted to get across,
um
stop me. But I'm moving into the idea of like other emerging markets.
mhm. Oh yeah.
So feel free to go back if you want to, but the next question really is like about emerging marketplaces or platforms. Um, are there any emerging markets or platforms globally that you've seen a strong indication of from data for
Mhm.
growth or potential growth for e-commerce sellers? So
Mhm.
this is really trying to get at like where should e-commerce sellers keep an eye out for what's growing right now for where they should
Mhm.
be next?
Well, globally, there are some, high growth markets and platforms. And the sooner you get there, the more options and the more benefits you will have.
Mm,
So we are definitely seeing, that Southeast Asia is one of the markets
mm,
that is rapidly growing, like Indonesia,
mhm.
Thailand, Philippines. They're experiencing rapid e-commerce growth because, they have increased internet access, they have mobile adoption. So they are more and more buying
Yeah,
because they have access to online shopping, and this is a market where you can go to gain more access, and it's highly populated areas as well,
yeah.
so there's a consumer base is huge,
Mm,
and they have their own platforms, like for example like Shopee or Lazada, and they're dominant in there, so you can get on those platforms, and
yeah.
when
Nice.
you should like focus on mobile optimized listings. You
Hmm.
should invest in localized marketing. You should explore in-app advertising, so you should definitely invest into seeing how much of your products can be a good fit
Yeah.
for that area. India, obviously, like if we're talking, more than a billion, well, probably approaching a 2 billion people, and the rise in using smartphones, and
Mm,
their government is pushing for digitalization of payment systems. It
mhm.
is a market that you can never underestimate, right? The online shopping is more accessible and it's growing exponentially because of the sheer volume of potential buyers as
Mm,
well. So they have Amazon, they have Flipkart, they have niche of fashion platforms, but again, it's a huge market and it will keep growing.
yeah.
Latin America,
Mm,
Brazil, Argentina, they're growing fast. They're actually seeing a strong growth, especially Brazil.
mhm.
And again, it's fueled by, young population, and again, increased smartphone adoption. So Mercado Libre is the largest
Yep.
e-commerce platform in Latin America.
Mhm.
It's a good chance, that you can gain a lot of visibility for your product, and you can start selling that if you go to that platform. Amazon is growing, especially in Mexico, right? Walmart in Mexico is also a thing. So again, when you go to these markets, you should definitely understand the consumers. They
Mm,
prefer, by the way, unlike the rest of the world, cash on delivery options and installment payments. So you need to consider that.
mm,
So you should offer flexible payment methods. You should tailor product listings to local preferences. But overall, it's a growing market and it will keep expanding. Another market is Middle East and North Africa. So Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt. It's all growing.
yeah.
The
Well.
Gulf countries in general, they have a lot of money
Hmm.
and they are ready to buy. They're ready
Mm,
to buy, and they have preferences for certain, luxury brands. They have preference for certain high quality items. So if you're a niche product or you're selling something premium, North Africa, Middle East is the region for you.
yeah.
However, again, high quality visuals, they value aesthetics, so you need to invest into that. They want fast delivery. They want, quick and reliable logistics. And like I said, if you're selling something that is high priced or a niche, that's a very good market to go to.
Mm,
Africa is also a thing. Not only there's a lot of fintech startups, coming from Africa. Africa is booming in e-commerce as well, and a
yeah.
lot of things happening for them at the same time. So it's a very good point of growth for the business that they go to, to this market, because everything is expanding exponentially.
Mm,
So again, there you should focus on mobile first, because most of their internet access is mobile based, right? So
right.
you should offer affordable products, flexible payment options. Cash on delivery is something that is very important in this particular area. So yeah, you should invest in, into making yourself visible,
Mm.
and invest in social commerce, and, using platforms like Facebook Marketplace to reach your customers in that.
What about uh marketplace platforms like on in the mental ranking of like Amazon, Walmart, Google, Etsy, etc., TikTok Shop? Where would you place? Are there any marketplaces that you see jumping up or down in the ranks, or that you foresee being something that might surprise people? And if not, then that's fine too. But do you think the current ranking system for how the marketplaces are ranked, like, Amazon is like number one just for a lot of e-commerce
Well,
sites,
Amazon
right?
is number one, and they're investing a lot in expanding, right? There's Amazon Japan, Amazon Canada, Amazon in Europe it's growing in popularity as well. So Amazon, I think, stays number one in all aspects of it. I think TikTok is trying to leverage that and kind of meet halfway and
Mhm.
become the next Amazon, especially for younger, population. However, like, Amazon, I'm sorry, TikTok shop is not available across the globe, but in
Right.
the countries where it is very competitive.
Mm.
It is very affordable. And from what I understand, it is pushing towards becoming the next Amazon. So
Yeah.
TikTok will be on the rise for those countries where TikTok shop is available. Walmart is also growing, but like they're growing in my understanding more like localized manner, so they're
Mm.
growing in North America. They're not per se very active in the
Globally.
rest of the world yet.
Yeah.
However, Amazon and TikTok shop, I think, are the ones that will be holding the number one place
Mm.
because of the sheer like rivalry that is
Yeah.
happening. I think it's beneficial for the end user. Because they
Yeah,
will be
definitely.
more and more offering, like options that are catering to all of the audiences that are there. But yeah, I think those two.
That's really cool. I So the last question is about projecting forward, staying with the theme of potential big changes. How do you see the industry, whether it's digital marketing, whether it's e-commerce, how do you see this space changing over the next 3 to 5 years? And what big changes should sellers be prepared for?
Well, the penetration of AI in the field, right? I was on the World Digital Marketing Forum in New York in September, and
Mhm.
the general idea was that AI will not replace you, but marketer with AI will.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's precisely what we will be seeing in the next 3 to 5 years. We will use AI and machine learning in personalizing marketing experience.
Mm.
This is like we will be able to create even more strategically placed, personalized campaigns that will cater to certain people.
Yeah.
Definitely voice and visual search expansion. Like
Mm.
it's not only typing in the words. People will be searching, using their voice. People will be searching using visuals. So that's going to be on the rise. Omnichannel shopping experience and unified customer journey will be a must. I mean,
Mm.
customer can get into your funnel from so many different angles, from
Yeah.
so many different points that you need to take that into consideration. And the business just needs to, build an omni-channel experience.
Mm.
There's no way they can, kind of ditch that. We will be more focusing on privacy. So everything that you will be creating, you will need to harness, this first party data. You will
Mm.
need to find the ways how you can get the relevant data from your consumers directly.
Yeah.
Because screws will be more tightening,
Mm.
and it's a good thing. We should protect the privacy. So the
Definitely.
ability of business to talk to their consumers and get information firsthand will just only be growing. They will
Mm.
need to talk more, and they will need to get the first data, first party data to stay on top of competition, to build, effective
Yep.
omni-channel, to
Yep.
build effective value proposition, and then again invest into the channels
Yep.
that will deliver this message to their particular audience in the most cost-effective way and ditch everything else.
Mm.
So again, this is something sustainable and ethical consumer expectations. I think they will be only growing. People will be looking for
Agreed.
more brands that are ethical.
Mhm.
People will be looking, especially the younger demographics, they are looking for ways, to save the planet, and
Definitely.
businesses need to cater to that, and they need to focus to that.
Mm.
Uh, Overall, I think, like marketplaces will evolve further. I think we will see more automation, we will see more enhancement, we will see more fulfillment options from Amazon, Walmart, other emerging platforms. I think we will have more niche marketplaces because again, Amazon, Walmart, and other big ones, they're catering to everyone. But there are
Right.
certain audiences, there are certain niches where people are looking for exclusivity. So I think we will have more platforms like that that will cater to these specific ones. And the last thing I think that will be only growing in trends is growing focus on retention and lifetime value.
Hmm.
It is more effective to ensure that you have loyal customers that stay with you, that know your brand, that love your brand, and buy your brand long term than attracting new ones, because
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
cheaper in the end. Yeah, so
I would say those are very reasonable guesstimations for what's to come over the next 3 to 5 years. I think I see, and it's weird because right now, I mean, we're just getting started with AI. Like truly,
yeah,
truly in terms
yeah.
of the impact for the end consumer and the
Hmm.
advertiser. Like, I think privacy being an interesting conversation that I agree with you. I think it'll become more and more important for the advertiser. Privacy is a tough
Yeah,
roadblock because it means
that's
less accurate
precisely. Yeah.
targeting. It means, yeah, like maybe more expensive ads. But at the same
Hmm.
time, there's a potential that AI can help increase the accuracy for your ads while also retaining that privacy for the end consumer. So there's a lot of stuff over the next 3 to 5 years, but I think that's pretty good. I mean, as we become a more global marketplace, accessible global marketplace, like things are just going to change so rapidly.
And I'm
So
looking forward to that. I'm looking
yeah,
forward to
me
that.
too.
I'm looking forward to, because I do believe that changes are always for the better. And I do think the changes that, we see coming are definitely for the better for the end user and
Yeah,
for the businesses, because we will be able to build connections that will last a lifetime, because we are focusing on delivering the right message to the right person and not
definitely.
just hammering everyone with everything. So
Definitely, definitely. And you see, I think that's partly why TikTok Shop does so well. Like this mixture of content and commerce.
precisely.
People feel like that personalization when they're buying a
Yeah.
product. Like, they can see it literally in
Hmm.
video form in different format
Yeah.
than just written. So I don't know. I think that I'll be curious to see what all unravels over the next 3 to 5 years, but I think that's
Oh,
pretty
me
spot on.
too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm
Well,
looking forward to see, if I was right or
yeah,
not.
we'll have to come back and evaluate all the
Yeah,
predictions.
for sure.
Natalia, thank you so much for all the insight, all the data. Again, there's so much, like you came with so much data, and there's so much data to unpack. But I'm so glad that you're able to kind of just walk us through some of the most major
Hmm.
points from Netpeak. One of my last questions, I think, is if people want to connect with you or connect with Netpeak in any capacity, what is the best way to do that?
Through our website,
Okay.
netpeak.us.
Okay.
We have a very easy contact form. We have a very strong and AI powered CRM system, which will ensure that we will see that message and
Okay.
we will, like act on it right away, because, we are preaching what we're doing. So
Yeah,
everything that I've been saying that, e-commerce or businesses should do, we are doing internally as Netpeak. We are constantly learning new information about our customers, and we're tailoring and catering to their needs. So
I love that.
if whoever wants to connect, Netpeak, dot us is the place to go.
I will put your information in the show notes. Natalia,
Thanks.
thank you again so much for being here. I'm looking forward to more conversations like
Yeah.
this. We'll definitely be recording more content in the future.
Hmm.
Thanks everyone for joining in, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments as well. But Natalia, thanks again, and we'll chat
Thank
soon.
you, Cameron. Yeah, thank you. It was nice being here, and yeah, talk to you soon.